Welcome to the Mot Krid Show.
It's time to live hard. It's time to live
Welcome to the Mot Krid Show. I'm your host Thomas Gallmeyer, and here's our political update of the week. Every day in America now seems to be a struggle to fight off the attempts by Trump and the GOP to turn the US into a fascist oligarchy. The latest is net neutrality. Our internet economy has been the envy of the world. It was built on a foundation of openness where small and large ideas can coexist and succeed. If corporations control the internet, and that's exactly what Trump and cohorts are pushing for, money, big money will control the internet. And the political agenda with the most money from then on will control our information. And that's the backbone for fascism. So let's all make some noise and save net neutrality. Call your representatives, resist, we will post the information and phone numbers. Make some noise. Runner. I've always been a runner. I used to go jogging with my dog when I was 10 years old, 11 years old. It was a great excuse to meet my girlfriend at the park. She would show up with her dog. So I've been running all my life. Now I live in California, and California has been leading in clean air. Generally speaking, California is a great place to be. However, we still have diesel trucks with old engines. They're 30 years old, spewing soot out. It's very cancerous. Plus we have our gardeners. It's a strange habit here in California. This is a desert city, and they come with the leaf blowers and they blow up all the dust with all the brake dust and toxic chemicals that have been dropped from paint residue to you name it. Running is not the same anymore. I discovered this great company. They're called Respro. They manufacture these sports masks. Here's my equipment. We have the Respro mask here and another model. This is the Sportster, and this is one of the new models they have. So this is what it takes these days to go running here in California. We are leading in clean environment and clean air. And even though the Trump administration is rolling back all those laws, California will stand up to the Trump administration and not roll back fuel efficiency, clean air regulations, and clean water regulations. So, welcome to California. Let's get ready to go running. So I just finished my 4-mile run. I just wanted to give my opinion on the different masks available at Respro. I'm using the Sportster, that was my first one, and then they came out with this brand new model. I love this one. Now to me the difference is the Sportster and that super light neoprene mask is better for humid conditions. So I mean, I live in California, most of the time it's dry. Loving this one, but when winter comes and humidity goes up, Sportster is the one. So check out Respro masks.
You changed my world. If I could swim over 7 seas, would you be?
Welcome to the studio. When I songwrite and collaborate with people, oftentimes I end up producing and engineering the tracks as well. The other day a friend of mine called me. His name is Red Carter. He's a great singer-songwriter. He was about to take a meeting with a publisher, and he wanted to bring in this song that we've been working on. I listened to it and I thought perhaps it was a little strong in the mid-range and we could bring up the bottom end of it. So one of the first things I look at is kick drum tuning. Never mind the EQ at first, I just look at the tuning of the kick drum and see where it fits the track. So let's have a listen.
If I could swim over 7 seas, would you be?
So as I said, I thought it was a little mid-range heavy, so let's look at the kick drum and make it work more in harmony with the bass.
If I could swim over 7 seas, would you be there waiting up for me? I know you.
So that's basically it. Works for me. Sits better in the track, fattens up the low end, and gets out of the way of the guitars and the bass and the keyboards.
If I could swim over 7 seas, would you be there waiting up for me? I know you would. I know you would.
Welcome back. A long time ago, I noticed I had a bump in my shoulder. It was sort of like a cyst. I thought it would go away with time. It didn't. And one time I just walked through a door and I hit the door frame with my shoulder and I felt this stabbing pain that just went right through my arm as if somebody had stuck me with a knife. And I thought, that doesn't seem quite normal, so I went and saw my dermatologist, who I'm also eternally grateful for. He, under local anesthesia, took a biopsy. As I mentioned, my father was an oncologist. I shared the biopsy results with my father, who immediately flew over here from Germany. He left work, as I later found out when I was visiting him in the hospital when he was in palliative care. His nurses and his staff, they said to me, "Oh, you're the one with the arm." And that's when I found out how much my father knew about the type of cancer I was diagnosed with. And he was so worried. Within a day, he flew over to the States to see us here. And he wanted to meet my surgeon. Only when he thought I was in safe hands did he fly back to Germany. And I went on to have the surgery at Cedars Sinai. My doctor has been Dr. Silberman. I am so thankful to him. I can never thank him enough for what he's done, of course, for my life. And also the entire staff at Cedars Sinai. Thank you so much for everything that you do, all the nurses, all the technicians, all the people that work in the scheduling office. They give such great comfort and care to the patients at the cancer center. It's unbelievable, so big shout out and thank you to all of you. The work you do is inspiring, and I'm forever grateful. After surgery, I went home. I had a full recovery. Since then, every year once, I travel over to the west side, I go to Cedars Sinai and have a full checkup and make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be in a healthy human being. But only now are they sharing more and more information with me about what happened back then and what they were looking at and what I was diagnosed with. And of course my father's reaction and flying over here within a day should have been a hint at what could have been the outcome. I was young, I thought I was indestructible. I never really realized the severity of what I was facing. I could have actually woken up after surgery with just one arm. This is how dangerous it was. Only now my surgeon is more and more opening up about what could have been. And the last time I saw him, he said to me, "Everything looks perfectly fine, and you were a very lucky boy all those years ago." And it made me realize what could have been and what wasn't. In the words of my father, live healthy and be happy. Welcome back to our weekly top 10. So glad you could join us again. Let's get right into it. These days I don't seem to be able to stay away from Arizona. So we start the set with I Was Wrong and the Robin Schulz remix. I was having lunch the other day and heard Ofenbach's Funky Be Mine. So that's next in the lineup. Tritonal No, Good Thing, and Wish I Was are cutting ties with Cameron Walker. Illenium and Set the Sky ask where'd she go before Don Diablo serenades us with Take Her Place. It's autumn now everywhere, but NOTD still feel the summer of love, and that's the Fallon remix. Harder is next up, and that's by yours truly, followed by Swedish House Mafia. I wish my father had said, "Don't you worry, child." Finally, we remember when we were young with Francis Dillon, Sultan, and Chet Neppert. Finally, let's all remember when we were young with Francis Dillon and Sultan and Ned Shepard. Enjoy this week's weekly top 10, turn up the volume, stick around, go to Mixcloud, follow and subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know what your favorite track was, and we'll see you again next week.